It is time to get raw, and it is time to throw down. It is time for Ye Old Raw Down. We are live here from Tavern Studios for the number one source for all things WWE, right here on the Turnbuckle Tavern. I am your host, Young Anthony, joined as always by my lovely co-host, JBone, BoneyCon himself. How are you doing, my man?
The real effing show. JBone Swallow is here, baby. And we're live.
We are live for another edition of the Raw Down. Hope everyone is having a very holly and festive week as we approach Christmas. And we are just about ready to get set for another episode of the Raw Down. But first, JBone, tell us what is going on over at Coming Down the Aisle.
Well, this past Sunday dropped the monthly edition of The List, where we went down the top 10 Intercontinental Champions. Of course, my co-host for that, Miles, the Ultimate Miles. We broke down our list for our top 10 favorite Intercontinental Champions. And then this Wednesday night, Thursday morning, when the pod drops, my guest this week is the MVP, the most valuable player in podcast history, Marco Denton, baby.
Nice.
Marco from the Chick-fil-A show will be joining us. We got John Cena versus Umango.
What a match.
Yeah, so...
is that their Royal Rumble match or
it
New
is.
Year's? Nice.
Yeah.
Underrated match.
Yeah, it's really good, actually. So I hadn't watched it in quite some time. So, and then check out Free the Fig on my YouTube channel.
Nice. All great stuff going on at Coming Down the Aisle.
Mm-hmm.
Also, some great stuff going on here at the Turnbuckle Tavern, because you can support the Turnbuckle Tavern in any way possible. Of course, going down to the links in our description, subscribing to us, following us on social media, doing whatever you need to do, dropping a like on this video especially, and all the other videos, but especially this one, to show your support. Plus, the number one way that you could show your support, if you want to, and if you got a few dollars laying around, is to buy some merch at prowrestlingtees.com/tavern. You can get a Young Anthony shirt. You can get a BoneyCon shirt. Go be a Paw Vince. And you can get some other shirts. I hear there's like an OG Fig Kid shirt that you maybe should step away from. But yeah,
if you run out of toilet paper, then that's when you should buy that.
That's a good reason to get it. I would say that's the only reason. But
I'm just kidding.
No, you should definitely.
Real quick on the OG Fig Kid, I want to just shout him out real quick. I mean, going through a lot of tough time. So prayers to you, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. We're waiting for you to drop your spot right here. Waiting for you to come back, and the door is always open for the OG Fig Kid.
The Scotch tape of the debate.
Yeah, the Scotch tape of the debate.
We're the staple.
The ultimate staples here at the Raw Down. Also, make sure that you stay tuned next week. And I know I'm already plugging next week's episode, but next week's episode are going to be our next pay-per-view predictions, because we have day one coming up. And need I remind you all that I am currently your Raw Down predictions champion, as I hold my belt real quick. Yeah, there it is. Holding my belt. So next week, this belt will be defended. Yeah. Next week, the belt will be defended. We still have a fun show coming up next week, and day one's going to be a fun show to watch. So a lot of good things coming for us. But nevertheless, we need to get into today's episode. Not a lot of outside the ring news to talk about. However,
for change,
I know, right? I think last week just covered us for the rest of the month. But I do want to start off today's episode with kind of a new segment, but it'll be a not so recurring segment. It's called the NXT Report. Every now and then, whenever there's something to...
We have to?
I know. Every now and then, whenever there's something to talk about for NXT, we'll bring it up, because although some of us may not like 2.0, we have to acknowledge the fact that there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. Before we do that, of course, want to shout out Tyson, of course. As much as we are the staple of the tavern, He is the staple of the tavern's comments section.
Yes.
So we gotta throw him a shout out there.
He's the man.
He is indeed. So let's talk about NXT for a little bit, because we had an interesting episode. I don't know if you checked it out, but the only reason why I decided to check it out this week was because AJ Styles.
You hate yourself?
Yeah. AJ Styles was on the show, and a very surprising turn of events. So he is currently now, I guess, feuding with Grayson Waller, who was the man who took Johnny Gargano out of NXT, if you want to look at it from a storyline perspective. He is now all of a sudden being pushed. He's he's getting a lot of attention all of a sudden. Now AJ Styles is thrown into the mix, basically because he said that he has a soccer mom haircut. That's where we are with a feud. So Styles is here. Not to mention, we're also seeing a lot of main roster people coming down to NXT, which is what the topic of the NXT report this week is bringing main roster stars down to NXT. We've already seen it now with AJ Styles. We have seen it now with Riddle, now that he's involved with the MSK storyline. We even saw tonight that Brian Kendrick is going to get back in the ring next week against Joe Gacy's guy, Harland, because of the attack from last week. So a lot of main roster guys coming down and playing their part in NXT. I want to ask you, to what extent do main roster established guys help the younger stars of NXT? Does it do anything, or is it just a way to, pop the rating a bit?
Maybe pop the rating, but I mean, this just shows they're like, whoops, look what we did. We just cut a whole bunch of people that could have given this knowledge. That's what it tells me, honestly. You had guys in there, that were on the independent scene, for a long time, and that we're able to kind of give, a little bit of knowledge. Like Johnny Gargano, like Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. I'm trying to think. Bobby Fish, they cut. I'm trying to think of some names. Obviously, they cut Adam Cole, but his contract ran out. But they're like, whoops, now we gotta do something here. And it's like, to me, it's like they're kind of taking a step back from pushing the new greenhorns, in these, thrusting them in this limelight.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
Mix it up with some established people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just feel like it's weird that they're including guys like Riddle and AJ Styles specifically. I wonder what the thought process of, because when it comes down to it, like if you're going to include guys in there for star power, I don't really look to Riddle and even AJ Styles as guys that you would immediately go to. Just
really?
Because
not AJ Styles?
Well, AJ Styles, maybe. But like if you're looking for like star power, I guess AJ's up there. I'll take back what I said.
But you know what? Hang on to that thought. Continue, because I have a reason why I think you think that. But go ahead.
Okay. So, well, yeah, I was saying like, if you're gonna bring in someone with like star power, to really elevate the roster, I'm thinking guys like. I think that's the thing, is that there's no one really around right now to really elevate and have that type of star power, especially not someone like Brian Kendrick, which Tyson's correcting me. The Brian Kendrick. I got that wrong.
Former WWE champion.
I was just about to say that. You read my mind. We are on the same. No, but my mind doesn't immediately go to Riddle. It doesn't go to the Brian Kendrick, although he is a former WWE champion. I guess that's kind of where we are right now, is that like they're bringing guys from the main roster down. Meanwhile, you already had a bunch of guys that had that experience, like Gargano, like O'Reilly, and you just cut them, Plus, might I add to this conversation and say, tonight on NXT, you had some very bad examples of this push for the new generation. Prime example, Von Wagner, the guy that beat up Kyle O'Reilly in the steel cage match last week, thought he was going to get a monster push. Tonight, he's in a squash match with, I don't know what his name is. But, you go in, you think it's going to be just a squash match, and he gets rolled up for a surprise 3 count, and he loses. If that doesn't tell you, like, I don't even know at this point.
I did not get a chance to watch NXT, admittedly. Just kind of finishing some stuff around the house before we got started. But honestly, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
The little bit I've watched NXT 2.0, I turned in the first 3 weeks, and after the third week, I was like, this is garbage. And I couldn't. I was like, I can't watch. Actually, no, I lie. I tuned in the first maybe 10 minutes tonight, and then I had to get up and do something. The little promo between Ciampa and Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
And dude, this was stereotypical WWE Monday Night Raw. Let's open up the show with the champion. Let's try to hook that bait. Catch that fish. Let's get out there with this generic ass freaking promo, and it's just a bore fest. That's partially I was like, you know what? I got something better to do. I got chores to do. I'll do that.
I appreciate them putting a little bit more of an emphasis on the booking for NXT as of late. If you're going to bring in these main roster guys, because as much as I say, maybe not as much star power, all of that aside, when you bring in guys, onto NXT that are main roster guys, I'm going to be interested. When they told me that AJ Styles was going to be on the show, I tuned in for AJ Styles. That's why I'm the type of person that I've come to just accept when guys swap over from brands and, a guy from Raw makes an appearance on SmackDown, because honestly, I kind of like it. I kind of like seeing different guys pop up every now and then. All the time when there's a brand split, maybe not, but when we get something like this, that Styles pops up on NXT that he's never been on NXT before, it's a little different. I want to say hi to Austin, by the way. Hello, Austin. Welcome. Austin and Tyson are in the chat. God damn it. I
don't know, but I get what you're saying, but it invalidates the Survivor Series. It invalidates the draft.
Oh yeah, that's
what aggravates me about. A couple weeks ago, was it the Rated R? I keep calling him Rated RKO.
I know. I do.
RK Bro, went over to SmackDown, and I think we talked about it here. It's confusing. I guess I don't mind so much with NXT because they're technically not that. I hope I'm not frozen up here. Anyways, they're part of that feud, with Raw versus SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind so much, I guess, somebody going down NXT.
Yeah.
But it's just, like I said, it just shows that they're like, oh shit, what do we do next?
Right.
NXT
absolutely.
it needs to go to Peacock. It really does. It's embarrassing, because you have these talent that are literally learning their craft before our eyes on national TV.
Mm-hmm.
And once they get to the main stage, nobody's going to take them serious.
Right.
Maybe except for a Braun Breaker or whatever, but your Von Wagners, your Grayson Wallers, your I'm trying to think, the Toxic Attraction. God, they're a botch fest.
I like Toxic Attraction though.
Who was the one that damn near killed herself?
That's true.
Who was that? Was I forget their names.
I think it was JC something.
Okay,
JC Penny. There you go.
Yeah, well, she wrestles like she's from JC Penny. Okay, yeah. She's got JC Penny talent. Because goddamn, and I just got off another podcast here not long ago. I don't criticize people, but goddamn, she sucks. I never talked about Ryback on there, but how much he sucks. But anyway, that's a different story. But it just, but the thing is, and look, I'm backtrack on my words a little bit. A lot of that is because she is green. Okay, mm-hmm. She shouldn't be in that position where you're on national TV learning your craft.
Exactly.
That's why AEW has dark and they have elevation. It's on YouTube. They know it's not going to be as big of a following.
They also have the Nightmare Factory, which isn't even televised to begin with. That's
it shouldn't be. So
it's like if they put FCW or OVW on national TV. Like I don't want to see these guys that are trying to build up their skill in the ring.
That's what we have.
Build up and let alone build up their star power. I don't want to see them, getting better in the ring. If you're going to show me that, then put it on Peacock or just turn it into Tough Enough at this point. Because I'm not here to watch people, grow. However, I will say for the most part, I enjoy 2.0 simply because one, it's another wrestling show and I like watching more
wrestling. Know what? I like that positivity. So
as much as I am as much as you guys like to call me like a WWE stan or whatever, I am fair. I am fair when it comes to my criticism.
You definitely are.
And for the most part, I like watching wrestling. There's pros and cons to it, but overall, I would say that I'm somewhat of a fan of this 2.0 thing. Should it be in different situations, like being on the network? Absolutely. But for now, with them bringing in these main roster guys, maybe it'll help a little bit. They just started doing it. Got to wait for these stories to come out. Maybe we'll see more guys on NXT besides AJ. Maybe they'll throw in someone every once in a while, but for now, I'm okay with it. We have a comment from the Tavern popping in. Remember that NXT doc series on the network, Breaking Ground? That was a great show.
It was really great.
I would love to see kind of like a twist if they bring this to the network or Peacock, wherever. I would love to see kind of a mesh of that. Like you have your guys, right, that you're building up. It's a wrestling show, but at the same time, it's kind of like a mix of Breaking Ground where you get that personal side of them.
That would be cool.
I would love to see that. And, that makes it not into a reality show like Tough Enough, because I don't like Tough Enough at all. It makes it kind of a mesh of, yes, it's a wrestling show, but it's also a, kind of reality based show, whatever. It gets you to know the characters.
Have you ever go back and watch the original Tough Enough?
I've watched a little bit of it.
They were awesome. They were awesome.
I mean, I love
and they were real. There was actually reality shit programming there. I'm sure they pushed some certain things here and there, but for the most part, you hear Al Snow and Maven talk about it like that was them learning their craft. But to your point, I think that would be good. I'm turned off by watching somebody that just got done playing college football last year, who couldn't hack it in the NFL. So you know what? I'm gonna just a comment. I
was just about to say that's
just classic.
Scene. Good snap. One of your nuts are hanging out.
Yeah, one of your nuts are hanging out. But I mean, I don't want to see some guy who just got done playing for fucking Ball State last year and then couldn't hack it. It was a free agent pickup, and well, guess I gotta go do something. Let me go to WWE, I guess, because they can make me a wrestler.
AKA the entire Next in Line program that they're putting into play.
And one of those guys in there is an LSU football player, and I saw that, I'm like, oh my god.
I am very intrigued in that, by the way. I'm not gonna say I like any of them, because I don't know them, but I'm very interested to see they have the twins that play basketball. They're trying.
I think they actually went to Ball State too.
Or
Fresno State, maybe Fresno State, but anyways,
they need to scout some people from Brooklyn, New York. I should join a college sport just so they could pick me up, so I could be horrible at it. But
they need to scout some people that went to a fucking wrestling school. That's what they do.
That's.
I mean, come on. It's this is like the trying to become a fucking doctor. Okay, like, oh, I can do that. I can cut. I know how to cut people. I'm gonna cut them. I'm gonna cut them good. Like,
well, I
come on,
couldn't
like,
be a surgeon, but I guess I'll go do some body slams. Like,
yeah. Like, come on, let's hire professional wrestlers.
Yeah.
Jeez, not like these amateur hour motherfuckers. I'm hot. I'm hot.
I'm hot.
I'm full hot.
I think that's the perfect time to move away from NXT. I think we've talked enough about the
full hot
developmental.
Louisiana.
But let's move on to the main reason why we've all gathered here today, and that is to discuss what was better, Raw or SmackDown. So I'm going to be honest with you. I did not watch much of Raw this week simply because I had some other work to do.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you had stuff to do.
Yeah, I'm sure I did not miss much. However, I think it's safe to say that regardless of whatever Raw did, I feel like SmackDown was the better show simply because of that final 10-minute segment with Brock, Roman, and Paul Heyman. What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm going to have to incline to agree. This was tough. So I think actually I'm this is kind of a hot take. I'm actually going to give the edge to Raw.
Ooh,
actually, right. and coming in the show, I was thinking about it, but SmackDown was so bad up until the Roman Reigns, the final segment. Like the matches were horrible. We had some good quality matches. Now they were rematches, honestly. But we had some good quality matches. We saw Dolph and Damien Priest. The final segment was not that great, though. I don't know. This whole week was not good. I'll be honest.
Yeah, we definitely had an off week. Which we've had multiple good weeks from WWE. So I mean, like to get one bad one is kind of.
I think I'm going to give Raw just this very, very, very slight edge.
Okay.
Only because like they were consistently better throughout the show.
Yeah. Well, let me actually catch everyone up to speed, including myself, on what happened on both SmackDown and Raw. So first, we had Toni Storm and Sasha Banks defeating Charlotte Flair and Shotzi.
That was actually pretty good.
In a very good match. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
We had 50 million commercial breaks, but then we finally had the Viking Raiders defeat Jinder Mahal and Shanky. We had literally the worst segment of all time, which I won't even mention. Well, Ridge Holland defeated Cesaro. I didn't even know that happened on the show. Yeah. Naomi defeated Shayna Bayzler. God, Shayna Bayzler. The New Day defeated the Usos. We've seen that one before. Yep. It was a fine match, but like, come on, how many times are we going to do this? And then the Roman and Brock stuff was great.
It was great. I mean, it was definitely great. If you didn't watch it, there's a lot of drama built up. Well, I guess we'll kind of start at the beginning of the show. Show Paul Heyman sitting waiting for Roman Reigns.
Right.
His car pulls up.
That was all really good.
And he has the title. He's like, hey, Roman, hey, friend. And then out comes Brock, and he's just like, oh. And so, Brock, kind of makes his acknowledgement towards Paul. Who goes on. Paul's like kind of freaking out. And then towards the end of the show, he gets fired from the Bloodline.
Took a Superman punch.
Almost a concerto until Brock stays the day. And it was good. And god dang, this showed how well Brock can sell. I mean, man, he's great. Absolutely. He really is. I mean, look, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Brock, but that dude is really fucking good. When it's all said and done, people are going to be like, man, I wish I would appreciate Brock Lesnar more while he was here.
Here's a hot take. Brock Lesnar, as it stands right now, top 20 of all time in WWE.
Phew.
Think about it.
Just WWE guys?
Yes. Taking everyone else into consideration, he's more like top 50, but like just WWE guys all time, I would put him on my top 20.
I don't hate it. I don't hate that hot take. I think that's pretty fair. I would put him closer to 20, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. I mean, like the closest I'll get is like maybe 15.
Okay, all right.
Because like you take into consideration
like
his early run, had probably one of the greatest first years of all time. He then came back, started just having great matches. The first match that he had back, even though he lost it, with Cena at Extreme Rules, excellent match. Had matches with Punk, Bryan, Styles. So many really. The match with Roman at WrestleMania 31 was really good. And his face run now, I really like his character work. I
love old Brock Lesnar had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
Did you hear about I don't know if this was true, but at day one it was supposed to be the New Day, the Usos and Roman versus Brock and the Viking Raiders, because their intention was it was supposed to be like the Bloodline versus the Vikings, because Brock looks like a Viking now. It's ridiculous. But apparently Brock just didn't want to work with the Viking Raiders. I
no shit.
blame him. Yeah, and it sucks because it's like War Machine, ROH, great tag team. Now here we are. But yeah, top 20 of all time. Whoever's listening right now, where would you put Brock Lesnar all time on your list of just WWE guys? All time, all guys, like, I don't know, top 50 maybe, but like
he broke Taker's streak.
Mm-hmm.
He's had,
think about it like this: he has never won. He has never won a mid-card championship. All of his titles have been the world title.
Not even tag team title.
Not even the tag team title, except like maybe OVW. I don't know. Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Podcast.
What up, Big Dave?
Hope you're doing well. We're talking about Raw, and we're also talking about SmackDown, which actually, let me get into some SmackDown. Let me get into Raw. We already talked about SmackDown. Just to update the viewers, we had the opening segment with Lashley. Yeah. Bianca Belair hit the KOD on Doudrop, which was really cool. Yeah. Finn Balor, what did he win or did he lose? I can't even see.
He won.
He won against Austin Theory. They don't give me the results for some reason here. I did see this actually. We had the Street Profit, the Mysterios defeating Omos and Styles, and they're broken up, and now we're going to get the match next week. We had Randy Orton defeat Chad Gable. We had Damien Priest defeat Dolph Ziggler. We had Rhea Ripley now defeat Queen Zelina only in 2 minutes.
Actually, back up. Damien Priest was a count out.
Oh, it was. All right.
So now Dolph and Damien Priest will fight for the title. So
all right.
Sorry.
Sounds great to me.
It was a good match, actually. So
it wasn't. I mean, I hate Dolph Ziggler, so I mean, who else? Rhea Ripley defeated Queen Zelina in 2 minutes. Gotta love the women's division. And what happened in the main event? We had what was it? A DQ finish for the main event?
No, it was not. It was weird. I'm trying to remember.
Raw is a war to get through.
I think Bobby speared. It was a weird finish. Bobby speared, I think, KO or something like that, and then Seth tried to break it up. It looked like he was going to break it up, but the ref counted to 3. It was weird. It was like, was that supposed to happen?
KO and Seth Rollins like worked together at the end, right? I saw.
Yeah, and the beginning, it set up the match. Look, I hate these. Oh, let's put them in a tag team.
Can they coexist? They're playing into this. I hope you realize that they know that this is a meme. You're gonna see this so many times now. Like literally every show. Every feud,
literally done this since 1992.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I think I was talking over you. They've done this They've done this since 1992 with Warrior and Savage. when they were going, they're going up against each other for SummerSlam '92. It's like, dude, like, come on,
Can they
different.
coexist?
It's ridiculous.
I wonder who in WWE can coexist. I wonder who. We'll never find out. Can we coexist, JBone?
We can coexist.
Or do we have to be in a tag team match to find that out? Pro Wrestling Podcast says, I'm over the world champion being in a tag team match. I'm over them not booking their world champion right. There's no reason why Big E is being booked this poorly. I'm hoping, and that's what gets me nervous, is that he could lose the title at day one. Now that we've included Bobby Lashley in here, Seth Rollins or Kevin Owens can pin Bobby Lashley. So this whole title reign could mean nothing for Big E, which gets me nervous. But Pro Wrestling Podcast again says, I think that's one of the reasons Kofi's reign was so lackluster. His reign was lackluster for a lot of reasons, but I don't think it was necessarily him being in tag team matches.
When you put the emphasis on the title, nobody really cares. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like Big E needs to express like why this title means so much. I would talk about, if I was Big E, like, look, this title means a lot to me because there has not been a long line of individuals that look like me to hold this title. Mm-hmm. I'm one of the very short list. I intend to honor those men who can get to this level. Talk about Dirty Lads, talk about Junkyard Dogs, talk about the, those guys. Don't talk about Ahmed Johnson. Nobody cares.
Oh yeah.
For the Ron Simmons. I mean, technically, he was WCW World Champion. Talk about the, any other D'Lo Browns, Godfathers. Talk about them, and then be like, you got to pry this title out of my cold dead heads.
It's so easy. It's so easy, but we have to make it about, can they coexist? For what reason? There's no reason to do this. Literally, your reasoning as to why he holds the title so near and dear to him makes so much sense. There's only, you look at the other world champions right now, right? Roman Reigns. They make that title prestigious with Roman Reigns. The way Heyman holds the belt, the way Roman holds it, like the way he talks about the title, he makes the belt prestigious, which is, by the way, the Universal Championship, which everyone called the fruit roll-up belt for how long? He is single-handedly bringing prestige to this title. Adam Page always talks about the championship, has been building up to him winning the championship for a year and a half now. If that doesn't give you prestige for your championship, I don't know what does. So Big E, now your world champion, is just using this as a prop? Like, it's so easy. That's all I have to say.
Hey, man, I will say something real quick. They messed up the prestige by doing that time limit draw. I have to put that out there.
Stay tuned for that one, folks. Stay tuned for that one. What was your match of the week, if you have any?
I'm gonna go actually Damien Priest and Dolph Ziggler. And actually, my hot take of the week, I think within the next 2 years, Damien Priest will be world champion.
I think so too.
Sometime in the next 2 years, maybe next year, depending on how well he's booked. Next year, maybe a potential Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah.
So,
what does this say? Brian Kelly versus Reveal.
So I was just on the Pro Wrestling Podcast and I just talked to the story, the coach from Notre Dame that came to LSU, and whenever he landed in Baton Rouge, let me pull up the picture again. He landed in Baton Rouge for his press conference. My oh my, did we see some hog action? by Mr. Brian Kelly. This guy was, man, he's slanging it. He's slanging it. Let's just say that. He's got it stacked up and ready to go. Hold on, just give me a second here. I should have this on favorite so I can pull it up.
On favorites, quickly. I don't know why you would have that on your favorites.
Well, you know.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Always need to keep it handy, you know.
Keep it handy. Yeah, keep talking. I'm going to pull up the picture.
I will say that my favorite match of the week has to go to the opening match for SmackDown, the women's tag team with Charlotte and Toni Storm and all of them. I thought it was a really solid match. They gave them a lot of time, which I like too. Plus we're going to see Toni Storm versus Charlotte next week. Right. Or actually this week. I'm thinking fucking whatever.
Well, yeah.
Technically, whatever. But we're going to get Toni Storm possibly becoming your new champion. I think they already recorded SmackDown, so I have not read the spoilers.
Oh, did they really?
Because it's on Christmas Eve, so I'm going to guess that they recorded it already. Or else we've already complained about the attendance for last week's shows. For the last past shows, I should say. Just imagine if they did a show on Christmas Eve. I would not even want to be.
Ay, caramba.
That would
be I mean, it's already poor thing going on. Well, I mean, Raw's been okay. This past week has been meh.
Yeah.
But Raw hasn't been too bad lately, and
yeah,
I don't know. It's there's some work to be done. Another thing I want to bring up too. This Mr. McMahon versus and Austin Theory, whatever you call it. It's oy vey, like
right.
This proves. Oh, here we go. I found it. This proves that Mr. McMahon is completely out of touch. This whole angle. All right, so this is Brian Kelly, new LSU football coach.
Okay. Right.
Chip.
Oh.
Nobody's got a bigger hog than me, dude. My man is packing.
Oh my goodness! I hope we don't get taken down for that one. But he's gonna puke. He's gonna puke.
He's gonna.
I haven't really been paying attention to the whole Austin Theory thing, but it looks bad. I'm still very confused as to why Vince is on TV or back on TV, I should say, for this story.
He looks like he's. He looks like these like they got him scotch taped together, like, and like they're like, all right, now do this, Vince.
They're using the Firefly Funhouse puppet of Mr. McMahon. Right. It's not even real McMahon.
It looks like he's like in an Asian movie because he's going. And they're dubbing what they want to say over it, so he's going.
Get the pencil. Do this. What would you cut from this week? Would it be the Austin Theory segment?
Oh no, man, there's so much I would cut. This is going to contradict my previous statement. Although like the matches were good, I wouldn't have done the rematches.
No.
As much.
This is a very valid reason to have Austin Theory with Vince McMahon, so he can just say the "It's me, Austin" line.
It's me, Austin.
I mean,
it's me all along.
Why else would he be with him? Tyson says because they got nobody else. I mean,
let's see. Cesaro, Ridge Holland comes to mind.
I forgot that even happened.
AJ Omos.
All right, but we got to talk about the real thing we would cut from this week. I don't mean to cut you off, pun intended, but Happy Talk with Drew McIntyre. Dutch Mantel put it best.
I forgot.
This is the worst segment that I've ever seen. Are you kidding me? They did the whole, I can't pull the sword out. They did all the crummy jokes. Drew McIntyre looked just bad here. I was about to say Ridge Holland. What's his name? Madcap Riddick Moss, whatever.
Madcap Moss.
Awful. So bad.
It's the worst. I forgot about that. Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Cut
so
that a million
weird.
times over.
It's so bad that Corbin was the most interesting story during the summer when he was broke, fucking brilliant stuff. And now we come to December and he is literally the worst thing that WWE has going. I'm hoping that there's more to this story and they're just dragging out a little bit too far, but like really that's the payoff is now we just have this awful Baron Corbin.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to think what was so bad about SmackDown, and that actually proves my point a little bit more.
Right.
Why Raw was better.
I mean,
even though they had the rematches, but
yeah,
it was so bad that it canceled out the Roman Reigns, the perfect Roman Reigns. Which, by the way, Tom even texted me. He's like, "Man, watch this segment. It was the best segment I've ever seen in a long time on SmackDown." Because it took me it was like the next day or so I actually watched it. But yeah.
Pro Wrestling Podcast says you guys don't like fake laughing. Yeah, I know. We need the Nickelodeon laugh track, the Dan Schneider laugh track.
We need the we need the fart noises.
We need we need Sneed soundboard and just put in those laugh tracks just for WWE. Because I think that will help a lot. But what else? What else can we talk about? Do you have any hot takes from this week?
Like I said, I think Damien Priest. I think he's gonna be world champion. Maybe even. I mean, I would say maybe even within the next year. He's gonna be seriously.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that, first of all, he looked good in the ring, but he's definitely been hitting the gym. Like he looks. Oh yeah. He looks like real.
He's got a character now. I think is a big thing too. Although. Is it a great character? It needs work. It needs like the fine tuning.
Yeah, it needs a little work, but
it is a character nonetheless.
I like this like angel devil,
half
angel, angel persona. Damien Priest. It makes his name mean a little bit more.
Right.
I'm really digging it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's like the United States Championship. Who cares? But
I would say his open challenges are helping the prestige a little bit nowadays.
Well, and so not to do a cheap plug, but we talked about this on the list with what makes a good Intercontinental Champion.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they have Intercontinental and United States Champion, and I think they serve both the same purpose to get whoever holds that title ready for a world title opportunity.
Yeah,
and the way they're booking Damien Priest, I believe that they're looking at that.
Well, look at it like the last few years, this past year alone. Who has been your past U.S. and Intercontinental champions? Bobby Lashley, Big E. Yeah, it writes itself, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know if I mentioned this on here or not last week, but I think I think. As far as early Royal Rumble picks, as of right now, I think I have Bobby Lashley was winning the Royal Rumble.
Really? So you would go with Big E and Lashley at Mania, or
yeah? You all want to go big and say that. I love that song, by the way.
That is a good song. The Rumble is going to be hard to predict this year.
It's going to be hard.
I think for the women's side, it's easy. I think it's going to be Liv Morgan.
No, it's going to be Bianca. Bianca's going to go back to back.
Really?
She's going to go back to back. Be the first ever woman to go back to back. Go back at WrestleMania and do it all over again. Capture the Raw Women's title, or maybe even SmackDown. Maybe even SmackDown. Maybe she goes up. Maybe they realize, hey, we need because they need some firepower over there. She goes up against Charlotte. She wins the SmackDown title.
I mean,
I could see more with Becky, honestly, because they kind of established that chase.
Right.
And they said, okay, you lost your opportunity. I like how they did that. At first I wasn't a huge fan, but like she got
You know,
screwed out of the
that's true.
title, whatever. So I think it's gonna be Bianca again.
So actually, when you say Bianca, it makes me think of like what they did with Daniel Bryan, that, he had the championship and then he lost it in a screwy finish, obviously to Randy Orton. They really did not a lot with him in the world title picture up until January, where he won the Rumble and then won the title at Mania.
He did win the Rumble. He wasn't even. He wasn't even. He wasn't even in the Rumble.
He wasn't in the Rumble, but he was inserted into the match. And
right.
Yeah.
He did his Daniel Bryan magic. I'm here. I'm in this match, bitch.
Tyson also says, "Liv to win, deal with it." I thought it was confirmed that like Liv was going to win. Honestly, like when you just look at the landscape, that it's Liv, it's Bianca, could even be like someone like Alexa Bliss, who's been away for a while.
Yeah, it could be. I can see that. The thing, I'm a Liv fan. I love the promo she cut a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of gotten stale a little bit because they've neutered her. They've kind of gone back to we're going to control what you say and what you do now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that little weird they had like a weird little promo thing where she tried to attack Becky during a training session, and like that's a heel move. Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But going back to our conversation weeks ago, can WWE sell out the AT&T Stadium? You got to have Becky as champ. You got
to have a lot of people at that show to sell out. Actually, here's some outside of the ring news that I just remembered. They're talking about bringing Austin in for WrestleMania, not in a match, but they're thinking of a way to bring him in that will, I guess, be worth bringing him in for.
You know what would be cool, and maybe this will. Here was something. So maybe this is how this Austin Theory thing will play out. So Vince becomes, continues liking Austin Theory, and maybe something like, you remind me of another Austin, and somehow like he gains control over the WrestleMania card, and he has to, he starts booking the matches. I mean, meaning Stone Cold Steve Austin, excuse me. Pronouns, pal. Yeah, and so he puts Austin Theory in like a match against someone with Vince in his corner, and Stone Cold Steve Austin picks somebody, and he's in that person's corner, and you get Vince versus Austin again. God, I'm a genius.
You're gonna start to see literally the last like two things that you've said on the show. Within the week, there was a report of something that came out for it. Last week, you said that The Rock and Nick Khan might be in cahoots. Here comes a rumor that The Rock is going to buy out WWE. So honestly, you could see it. I was going to say Vince McMahon versus Austin Theory at Mania with Austin as your special guest ref, but that's just me crazy thinking here.
Well, Vince is held together by Scotch tape, like we talked about.
That's true. So who would you have in be Austin's wrestler? It's tough.
I'm gonna go with the guy that I just mentioned, Damien Priest.
Okay. I guess, yeah. I mean, if you want to really build up someone,
you don't have to have see
look in my eyes. How about this? How about Finn Balor? Maybe he's in a feud with it doesn't really fit though. Although Pro Wrestling Podcast says that Finn Balor is going to win the Rumble. Maybe.
I don't see it, but yeah, I mean that would be a great way to you could put that. I don't know if you put that on last, but this is where they're going with this angle. Where you're going to have Austin Theory It's going to be under McMahon's wing, and then Stone Cold's going to come in. Probably about 316 day.
Yeah.
But yo, look here, you son of a bitch. You want to be like Vince McMahon?
So here's a just a crazy idea. Now that we're on the topic of Rumble winners, what about Austin Theory winning the Rumble? Do you think they would ever go through with that?
Nah, not yet. I mean, I think he's got at least a good number 2-3 years. He's a little bit further away than Damien. I would put Damien Priest as winning it for him.
Yeah,
as of right now. I mean, he's already had a WWE title shot, so that's actually pretty impressive. But
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like he could
potentially. What are you gonna do? Sell Big E versus Austin Theory? You think that's gonna draw? That wouldn't even draw the fucking I don't know Nassau Coliseum. Like you think you're gonna draw AT&T Stadium?
Wouldn't even draw my high school's gymnasium.
Thank you. Yeah, it wouldn't even draw this studio.
If you put Austin Theory in this studio, even Tyson wouldn't be in the chat if Austin Theory was in the studio. No, I mean, there's a lot of Rumble contenders this year, which I like. I guess the field don't even bring it up.
I mean, honestly, like.
No,
that's not outside of the realm of possibilities at this point.
Get out of your fantasy booking ways.
But
I've just come to accept. That's like saying, Jeff Hardy's gonna come back and he's gonna win the Rumble.
What if this was just like one big old swerve, bro? I mean, you gotta. I don't know.
As much as I love my swerves, this is not a swerve. But. Nevertheless, so I think we're going to come to a conclusion on the show with, of course, our final segment, Who Won the Week? And I think, are you nailing it down as a Raw victory this week?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Raw.
All right. Well, considering I did not watch Raw, I'm actually going to give it to SmackDown. But I don't know. I love that final Brock and Roman segment. So I think with that and the Shotzi match, I say the Shotzi match as if she was as the tag team match, like, I don't know. I thought it was a pretty okay show overall, but hopefully next week I will watch both of the shows and have a better reasoning as to why I picked one over the other. But ladies and gentlemen, we are just about ready to wrap up today's episode of the RAWDOWN. If you enjoyed what you heard, if you enjoyed what you saw, make sure to leave a like. Make sure to leave a comment telling us what you thought of Raw or SmackDown. Matter of fact, there's 5 of you watching right now. Drop a like and drop a comment right now in the comments section.
Like.
Yes, leave that like, but leave that comment so that we know you're here. It's like attendance almost. Like, make sure you write your name in. Do please tell us what your favorite segment on Raw was. Also, tell us if you think that Brock Lesnar is a top 20 WWE wrestler of all time. We talked about it earlier in the show. Do you think that he is? Make sure to drop a comment. It means a lot to us. Besides that, subscribe to the Tavern. Do anything that you can to support not only the Tavern, but also Coming Down the Aisle, as well as the Titantron podcast, which may be seeing a return in the very near future.
Hell yeah.
A lot of different things coming. This is our second to last episode of 2021, by the way, which I think is fun to mention.
Yeah.
So fun episode coming next week, though, because we have our day one predictions, as I will be defending my RAWDOWN predictions championship against JBone. Hopefully Tom, although Tom is never going to hold this title. JBone might. He's good with predictions, apparently, as we've seen in these last 2 weeks. So who knows? We could be seeing a new champion.
Real quick, just tell the folks who predicted KO resigning.
It was indeed JBone.
Boom.
Predicted.
Suck it, Tom.
Tom did not. Tom likes to say that he predicted it, but he did not predict it. But with that out of the way, folks, I'll throw this comment up here because it's about what I was about to say. Never Merry Christmas, anyone who celebrates. Happy holidays. Have an amazing time. It's a very festive week, so make sure that you celebrate it well. We will see you here next week for our Raw Down Championship predictions. But until then, take care, spike your hair, woo, woo, woo.
You know it.